Welcome back for another episode of Two Guys,
a podcast,
and Wrestling Rundown. Here we are today, and there's been a lot of news this week. Well, with departures, arrivals, titles, all this fun stuff going on the, as I say, the fast lane to Wrestlemania, right?
I guess that's the new thing every year.
Yeah, the new thing
after Rumble and before Mania, fast lane to WrestleMania.
You know, it was the first once you got to the Rumble, you were on the road to WrestleMania. Now you're on the fast lane to WrestleMania, and you know, before we get into the WWE stuff, the first thing we got to bring up is Samoa Joe done with TNA.
He put it on his Twitter account. He has parted ways with TNA.
And we don't really talk much about TNA on here, even though we say we're going to try and cover as much of the wrestling world as possible. And that's because I'm going to be honest with you. When TNA first started about and everything, I was a huge TNA fan. I used to tell Javi here all the time, dude, you got to check it out, man. They're coming up. They're coming up.
And I didn't believe it at first because I didn't see any of the big stars. I know that's an ignorant way of thinking, but I didn't see star power, so it didn't draw me in. Yeah, the wrestling was good. I admit it.
And then they kind of went. They went against what they were preaching. They were doing the whole we're different. We're different from WWE. We're not doing that entertainment stupidity. We are wrestling.
I don't think it was even just that. It was the fact that they were not gonna push old timers. Like they did it at first just to put their name out there. Then they went through with the X Division and AJ Styles and
Daniels,
Christian Cage, Rhino. They made these WWE rejects look like MVPs.
Exactly.
But what did they do? And I'm not even talking about Sting because Sting brought back
when Sting came back, Sting, Angle, Booker T. Who else was in that main event Mafia? Was it Scott Steiner?
Well, I think we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. That was like 4 or 5 years into it. But like when Sting came back, I thought it added, a lot of good to TNA because it's not like they brought back all these old farts.
They brought back an icon, so to say.
Right, and he could still go in the ring. Yeah. I mean, he beat Samoa Joe, he beat Kurt Angle. But anyways, they started doing exactly what they made fun of WWE of doing because WWE was bringing back Hogan. They were pushing Shawn Michaels. Triple H was getting older.
They're bringing in all the old superstars and leaving the young guys to kind of rot, so to say, almost.
Right. And even though everybody complained about that, who got the biggest pops of the night? Those old timers.
The old timers. Right. And TNA, when they saw WWE start getting all that, all the pops, like you said, what'd they do? Hey, let's bring back some of their old timers that aren't with them anymore. And
they made them look good, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, they made some of them look good. Not all of them. Some of them.
Most of them.
But
when they started just relying on the old guys, it's like, it's cool if you want to do that, but don't be a hypocrite about it.
Exactly. And, with Samoa Joe leaving TNA, supposedly the story goes that, they couldn't come to a financial agreement as to his new contract, so he just let his contract expire. Sounds ironically familiar to one AJ Styles.
I heard they were only willing to pay $200,000 a year for AJ Styles,
and that's the thing. In a sense, I think that's a slap in the face of AJ Styles, mainly because of all that he's done for that company.
Right, and I understand them not wanting to pay him, maybe for financial purposes or whatever. But I'm just gonna put this out there, and then I'll be done with that part of it. They wanted to offer AJ Styles $200,000. Miz makes $750,000 a year. That's all I'm going to put it up.
Granted, WWE did also make a lowball offer to AJ Styles after that, mainly because they didn't see as much potential with AJ Styles as I guess they do see with Samoa Joe, who the rumor has it Triple H wants him.
Well, when AJ left the company, I don't think NXT was as hot as it is right now.
That is true. NXT was not as hot as it is right now.
And the only thing I'm afraid of is Triple H offering these guys to start at NXT. I hope they don't take that as a slap in the face. Like, why can't I be on the main roster? Why can't? Because as much as we like to not see what the real thing is, some people take things like that personal. they think NXT is a demotion when it's not. It's its own brand and it's its own thing.
Honestly, with how NXT is doing, like you said, as hot as it is right now, I don't think those guys would take it as a demotion anymore. You know, I think those guys would take it more as these. If you look at it, Sami Zayn, Finn Balor, Hideo Itami, Kevin Owens, Tyler Breeze, all these guys are technically getting more pops and more props from the fans than the guys on Raw and SmackDown.
Well, the only thing I gotta say about that, and I'm not dogging NXT because it really is great. Let's be honest, NXT is different from WWE because NXT is only in one place, which is Full Sail University, right?
Yeah.
You got most of the same people coming back, and now that the reality era is out there, and because of people like Bryan and Daniel legitimizing, even though it was already legitimate, but like really putting the indies on the map.
Oh yeah, they definitely did kind of put the indies on the map.
People really, really like the indie stuff, and honestly, the reason I feel like NXT is so different from WWE is because they still have their gimmicks. You know, let's not say that it's more real.
They have the gimmicks, they have their promos,
but the thing is that it's full of all these indie wrestlers, which
I think, and the other thing that we have to realize about NXT is that we live in right now the pay-per-view era and everything. You have a pay-per-view every single month, right? Mm-hmm. There was a point where you had, I think it was sometimes you had 2 a month. There's 2 pay-per-views in 1 month a while ago, wasn't there?
I honestly can't remember.
Anyway, I remember there was a year where there's like 13 pay-per-views. There were a couple years.
Oh, for WWE?
Yeah, for WWE.
Oh, yeah. I think they would have 2 in January.
One was New Year's
Revolution.
Yeah, and then Royal Rumble was right after that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, with NXT, however, you have the weekly shows go on for about 2 months before they have their, their big 2-hour event. Right? So, in that sense, it gives their feuds a lot more time to build up, and it allows you to bring the fans in a little bit more with the feuds. Remember what we were talking about? I said one of the pros when they had the brand split with the Raw superstars being only on Raw and the SmackDown superstars being only on SmackDown was, they had the individual pay-per-views, like Raw would have its own pay-per-views, SmackDown would have its own pay-per-views, and then they shared the big 4.
Right, and let's be honest, when the pay-per-views that they did not share, every one of them was garbage.
They were garbage.
The only good match was either the
main title match.
The main title match, or
there was one other feud that was going on that happened to be good. But the feuds leading up to the pay-per-views were decent because they had time to build it and it didn't feel rushed, and they weren't trying to cram like 4 segments into one SmackDown episode to catch everyone up or anything like that.
And that's why I feel that one of my favorite feuds of all time, which is, come on,
Jericho HBK.
Oh my god. Triple H and Shawn Michaels is to me the number 1 greatest feud of all time. Now, granted, I didn't watch a lot of the old stuff, but still, I mean, everything that went on, the history between Triple H and Shawn Michaels, because it was only on Raw and it happened every week, and it would culminate at to an extent at a pay-per-view, whether it was a title change, whether it was somebody getting screwed over, whether, and sometimes, and me and Khaled talk about this all the time, the best way to have a feud continue going is to throw some other guys in there every now and then.
Exactly.
Like that's why the Authority and Daniel Bryan was so good, because they threw the Shield in there every now and then. They threw the Wyatt family in there.
Exactly. It was a constant. It was constantly, in a sense, changing and evolving at the same time. Yet you still had the core feud going on.
Right,
there are all these moving parts around it, but the core was still there going forward, while all these other parts are moving around it, causing more mayhem, so to say.
Right. And with at that exact same time, Lesnar and Angle, their feud didn't last as long, but man, because you got to see it every week for about 7 to 8 weeks straight, it just added so much more to it.
And half the time, it wouldn't even be the beauty of it, of how they did the feuds back then, was these guys would not fight in a match until the pay-per-view.
Sometimes it was them screwing each other over. Sometimes it was them coming out, cutting promos, talking crap.
They'll have a match that night, but it'll be against somebody completely different. Than all you might see is just Lesnar and Angle just stand at the top of the ramp or sitting at commentary. Just subtle things like that.
Or attacking each other at the end of one's match, getting disqualified.
Exactly. I think that's what kind of WWE's lost a little bit when it comes to building the feuds, is that sometimes, for the first match, they never touch each other. Then they have the first match. Then after that first match, you see the same match happen every single week after that, and it's like you just kind of wear it down a little bit, you know?
Well, I think you're exaggerating a little bit on that.
A little bit.
I think that's reserved for the people who aren't like top stars or even like top mid carders.
Yeah.
You know, maybe like the tag team division. You know, you start to see
exactly.
that because in 2007 they even did that with was Lance Cade and Trevor Murdoch and the Hardy Boys. Mm-hmm. If you go and look at that like, chronological order of pay-per-views, every pay-per-view they were going at it against each other, and some were good matches, but they weren't amazing. You know,
they didn't add any variety to it. You know?
Right.
It just became, and that was one thing that I was afraid could have happened with the Shield and the Wyatts, and it kind of did when they had their feud. Was it last year?
Well, you also got to remember, I believe 2 of their matches were only because of what happened with CM Punk.
Yeah.
The first match was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
The second match was good, but once again, it only happened because they were in Chicago. They didn't want the arena to get hijacked by the fans. So they kind of had to give us another great match.
Yeah. And I think this is where the WWE the universe in a sense is the cause of a lot of these things, is that, you know, our expectations are like ridiculously high, and then when our expectations are met, we want to take it even higher. And it's only so far that we have to understand these guys can take it. And if you look at some of the crowds, it's like, this match is good, but we've seen it already. We want to see more. You know, we want to see something a little bit better. Take it to the next level type of thing, you know?
Or keep it at the same level, but show us something different.
Exactly. Like, I get we're jumping all over the place here, but
it's cool. Like I said before, you can't talk wrestling without getting sidetracked.
I was getting sidetracked into the whole Lesnar Roman Reigns match that's coming up at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm just hoping it's one of those that, you know, we don't see. What I'm hoping we don't see is Lesnar dominates, Roman Reigns hits 2 power moves, find a way to come back and comes back and, you know, wins in the end. You know,
I don't think you're giving these guys enough credit.
No, I'm just saying that's what I'm hoping not to see. I'm saying I would like I after Roman Reigns' match with Daniel Bryan, my views changed a little bit in that, okay, he can put on a good match with Lesnar.
Because you remember what I said, right? And I didn't say it the exact same way Roman Reigns said it, but he said it in a way that made you believe, I've never come out and said I was the best wrestler, but I know how to adapt. I know how to swim with the sharks.
Exactly. But I'm just going off of how WWE tends to book stuff. You know, with their whole, okay, we got 2 big powerhouses, but we want to push Brock Lesnar as a beast. You know, I hope they don't do the whole, okay, we're going to have Lesnar destroy Roman Reigns for 10 minutes, then have Reigns, you know, mount a comeback, then Lesnar beat him back down a little bit, then Reigns comes out of nowhere and hits the game winner type of thing, you know?
Yeah, but how much of that is us being greedy and not wanting this and not wanting that? I'm not picking on you. It's just we all want something different. You know how many times per month not per month, but like per year, I go back and forth and say, ugh, I'm tired of seeing 6-7 months title reigns. I want to see them switch every 2-3 months, you know, legitimize some of these wrestlers. And you know how many times I've said, why do they keep switching the titles? Why can't they have like long, lengthy runs, you know?
See,
so
I think the happy medium there is, okay, if you're going to give someone a long title reign,
make it entertaining.
Make it entertaining. Make him defend that title every pay-per-view, but make the matches good, make the feuds good that he's in, you know, give him something to do. Don't do what they did with Dean Ambrose when he was the United States champion and just...
Well, that right there had already been a problem. I don't know what's wrong with WWE. I think they, in a sense, have their head so far up their asses that they don't see that people actually look at the Intercontinental title. We look at the Intercontinental title and we see the future. You remember in the past? Who had the Intercontinental title the most? And it was always the workhorses. It was always the guys that put on the best matches. Razor Ramon, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, The Rock, Austin,
Triple
Mr.
H.
Perfect, Roddy Piper.
I mean, all those guys.
And it's like, now it's like these guys that you know could make it, but can't even get over the humps.
Now you bring up the Intercontinental title. You know that the ladder match that finally got added to WrestleMania.
That right there is, to me, them saying, "Hey, we're gonna make this important.
We're gonna bring back the prestige that it once had." And
because they have. Sorry to interrupt you. I just had to get this in. It's obvious that they know that they've made a mistake, and they're doing it at the exact right time. Because how many times can you finish a sentence and bring people in by saying and have it at the grandest stage of them all?
Exactly. And okay, people are going to say, "Oh, it's a ladder match. It's going to be a spot fest." What better way to get? What's some of the best matches in the past WrestleManias? Money in the Bank ladder matches, TLC matches.
Shawn Michaels versus Razor Ramon, considered to be the
I'll
greatest.
even go as far. Shawn Michaels versus Vince McMahon.
That was match of the year, if you can believe it.
You put a ladder in a ring and you throw a couple superstars in there, you are gonna have a bona fide 5-star match easily.
And you look at some of the people that are already in there. You got Wade Barrett,
he's the only one that's been announced for it.
Well, Dean Ambrose.
He hasn't been announced for it. We know Dean Ambrose is going to be on it. But all they've come out and said was the Intercontinental title is going to be defended in a ladder match. The amount of participants and who the participants are have not been made. Have not been announced yet. Dude, you know what I can see happening? I can see them saying, "All right, 8 guys. You guys are in the ladder match." You know, I can see them throwing it. Okay, you got Wade Barrett, Dean Ambrose. I can see Dolph Ziggler being in there. You know what? You want to bring back prestige to it? Who's one of the hottest superstars right now?
Bryan.
Exactly. Who hasn't returned yet from an injury? Hey, what better way to bring him back? Sheamus. You throw Sheamus in there. Shoot. Might as well. No, well, Mizdow is probably going to be in the Battle Royal, the Andre the Giant Memorial.
Is that a yearly thing?
I think they're trying.
I'm still iffy about that.
I think that's kind of like replacing Money in the Bank, the Money in the Bank ladder match. They were trying to find some way to put more superstars, I guess, on the show.
It's just the politics is getting so ridiculous now. Because what happened to Cesaro's push? It died 2 months later.
I think they just had a hard time figuring out how to push Cesaro. I think how he is right now, the tag team with Tyson Kidd, I think that's good for him. You know, because it keeps him relevant.
Well, one thing that WWE doesn't do as much anymore is make their heels cheat. And it's cool to see heels go fair in a match and either barely win or almost win. But you start to see them as a babyface. It's no longer like good and bad, bad and good. You know, you got to make these guys start cheating. You know, I'm not gonna like it, but hell, Triple H cheated all the time, and he's one of my favorite heels of all time.
Now, we switched from the Intercontinental title, where there's probably I can see 6 guys easily being in the match.
Because honestly, I don't see anything going for Bryan right now, unless they're really gonna do the Ziggler Bryan match.
No, I heard that got dropped. So, hey, you're going to drop Ziggler Bryan? You got nothing else for them to do? Throw him in the ladder match.
Like you said, you got Sheamus returning.
Why
not put... I've always been high on Cody Rhodes over the past couple of years.
Cody Rhodes, they're going to continue the feud with... he's going to continue the feud with Goldust.
That failed a year ago. And don't get me wrong, I would like to see it. But as far as putting it on Mania, I don't think it's going to happen. Now, I would love to see it if every week from now on up to Mania, they talk so much crap. Dusty Rhodes, I know he's there.
Yeah, he's going to play a part. He's going to play a part in it.
If they make him the special guest referee,
that'll be.
But the only thing I don't want to see is somebody turn on somebody. I just want to see a straight match. And honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing Goldust come out with a victory on this one.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how this feud plays out. Speaking of the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle. Memorial Battle Royale? Is that what it is?
Just call it the Andre the Giant
Battle Royale, whatever. Yeah. So, Miz is already in it. Ryback's already in it. Mizdow hasn't announced anything, but I'm pretty sure because Miz is in it, he's going to end up being in it. It would not surprise me if Mizdow's the one to eliminate the Miz.
It would surprise me.
I don't think
they're ready to separate yet.
I think they are.
No, because what's going to happen is... Who do we want? whenever, like last year, Cesaro.
Yeah.
People were cheering for Cesaro. What happened? Did they continue cheering for him?
No, they stopped. That is true. They did kind of stop.
And to be honest, up to an extent, the Yes movement.
Yeah.
A lot of it is just fan participation.
Yeah, it is. That is true.
So I'm really afraid that people are gonna be like, yeah, we like Mizdell, but we only like him when he's doing what he's doing with the Miz.
True.
That's what I'm really afraid of.
That could happen. Who else do we see? I wouldn't be surprised if we see a couple NXT superstars show up in the Battle Royale.
I wouldn't be surprised either, but I still really don't want to overdo it with the NXT guys,
no, I'm saying
squeezing their way into main roster matches.
Okay. Well, you gotta look at Mania already, right? The Battle Royale is they're probably gonna try and put 15 people in it easily. Right, I'm pretty sure. Right, you're already gonna use probably 6 superstars in the ladder match. Cena's probably gonna end up going against Rusev. I guess you gotta find something for Seth Rollins, Kane, and Big Show to do. I guess you might put them in that match. Or shoot, maybe Seth Rollins ends up in the Intercontinental title match.
I don't think so. I don't know what's going to happen though.
It's curious. It makes you think. Well,
yeah, because he's the future.
Look at it like this. Okay, hypothetically speaking, let's say Seth Rollins is in the ladder match. He wins it. Brock Lesnar beats Roman Reigns, but he's so worn down here, he's barely standing up. Mr. Money in the Bank comes out, cashes it in. Curb stomp. 1, 2, 3. You now have Intercontinental title and the WWE World Heavyweight title.
That's only ever happened one time in WrestleMania history. And it sucks because if they're going to stay consistent with everything, he's going to have to vacate the Intercontinental title. So as cool as that would be to see, it makes no sense. Well, it makes sense, but it's not going to happen.
You remember what he says? He can do whatever he wants.
He says that.
He does say that. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, but I see other guys winning the Intercontinental title. Actually, I really wouldn't be surprised, and I wouldn't mind Wade Barrett retaining. But like I said, I don't mind seeing people retain their titles as long as it's an amazing match. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's too much to ask for because these guys have the ability to do this. Okay, so we have 6 guys, probably who knows how many going to be in the ladder match. We got probably 15 in the Battle Royale. Once again, I'm pretty sure they're gonna. I wouldn't be surprised if I see maybe. I thought it was a 30-man over the top Battle Royale.
See, if it's 30, I would be less surprised now if they call up 1 or 2 other guys from NXT. Maybe I could probably see Adrian Neville.
I can see the guys that have been there already.
Yeah.
Sami Zayn.
I can see like the Sami Zayn, Adrian Neville, maybe Kevin Owens. Finn Balor maybe, and that'll be about it. I can't really see much else being called. Those will probably be the 4. Tyler Breeze might be able to sneak in there a little bit, but if Tyler Breeze comes in, then Hideo Itami. Those will be the top 6, of course, to be called up.
Right.
I don't really see anybody else on that roster being brought up. Well, Sin Cara probably, but I mean I guess he's in between.
He's one of those guys that could shuffle between
exactly.
both.
So he'll be okay, I guess, to go back and forth.
Now here's my question. What's up with AJ Lee, and what's going on with the Divas Championship?
So I think they're gonna. I think they're gonna continue with Paige and Nikki, but apparently AJ's still nursing that neck injury or something like that she had.
I mean, it is a neck injury.
So I'm pretty sure a lot of what she's doing. I'm pretty sure WWE's like, look, take as much time off as you need. They probably don't want another CM Punk incident.
Well,
so to speak.
I don't think it's that. I think it's the fact that they're using that as an opportunity. Well, you know what? Our top talent is out right now. Give her time to rest. Let her come back healthy as possible. Because they're gonna. As long as AJ wants to be there, they're gonna have her there. Yeah. And you got other people that can make it. I mean, I know Nikki isn't the best wrestler, but the Bellas are money, and they gotta milk that for every penny.
I guess this is a good time for them to try and develop some of the other divas. I think they tried with what's her name? The one, is it Naomi?
Mm-hmm.
They tried with her, and then I guess they just stopped her. No, she got hurt. They kind of just fell back on that.
I can see Naomi winning it, but because she'd be a super face.
Well, she's too involved right now with the Usos and Tyson Kidd and Cesaro thing. That little feud going on there, which I actually do like that little feud they have going on for that with those 2 tag teams. You know? Especially bringing in Natalya and Naomi a little bit into it. It's a nice little feud that we haven't really seen in the tag team division for a little while now.
And you know what? Just to sidetrack just for a couple of seconds. Remember how we're always talking about the tag team division not being where it used to be?
Yeah.
There was no better example than I was watching on WWE Network yesterday or the night before. I believe it was Royal Rumble 1999.
Yeah.
I can't. It might not have been a Royal Rumble. Was it? No. It was Armageddon 2000.
Okay.
It was where, the 6-man Hell in a Cell. The match started off with a Rumble match with tag teams. And
I remember that. You had to, get... What was it, the last two and got the title match or something like that?
Yeah. And it was cool because they said, 7 or 8 teams were going to be in there. I'm like, we don't even have 7 or 8 teams right now.
Let's speak with tag teams right now. So, can we still call Miz a Mizdow tag team?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one.
Well, it's more of a novelty tag team kind of thing.
I guess we'll call them a tag team for now.
Okay.
The Usos. Tyson Kidd and Cesaro.
Although they're not as established, they're
pretty good as a tag
fucking
team.
Awesome in the
They're
ring.
awesome.
Excuse my language.
But they're moving up. They're going to be a hell of a tag team to watch.
And I guess technically you can still stay Stardust and Goldust. I know they're feuding, but but as far as the tag team division now,
that's really it.
Well, no, they got the Ascension.
Oh, I completely forgot about them. And the Primetime Players are back.
I heard.
Yeah, they're back.
But I heard that they didn't get a pop.
I put you Darren Young looked so different. I didn't even know it was Darren Young at first. I'm like, who's that guy? And then comes out. I was like, what? What's going on?
You think it was John Cena again?
He doesn't look like John Cena anymore. Like I said, I was confused. I'm like, why is Titus O'Neil coming out? Because I caught the match halfway through, so I didn't hear him say Darren Young or anything like that.
Oh, we forgot about Slater Gator.
That's done. Slater Gator's done because Primetime Players are back.
Do we know that for sure, or are we just saying that?
I'm just saying that. Plus, Heath Slater, they gave him time off to deal with some legal issues. I think he's back. I don't know. I hadn't really been keeping up on. But still,
I like Slater Gator. They're very entertaining.
We're up to 6 tag teams where really and truly, 2 of them are getting a lot of TV time, so to say. And
the Usos are money, dude. What they can do in the ring is just.
And you, amazing. I said, you paired them up with another good tag team in having Cesaro and Kidd come together.
You can only get better when you put 2 guys like that, 2 workhorses.
Now, I would like to see them kind of develop the Ascension a little bit more. Maybe that's what they're planning on doing with them having a little feud with Primetime Players. Maybe, who knows? But we'll have to see where that goes from there.
But go back and watch that match, and you'll see exactly what I told you before. I said I think the reason why some tag teams succeed is because you look at one guy and you look at the other guy, and you can immediately tell
they complement each other.
Right. I'll name the teams that were in there. Like I said, they have to either be brothers or quotation brothers, or they have to look alike, either dress alike, or be. It's not just this person and this person. That's why Steve Blackman and Al Snow didn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
But the Dudley Boys, 2 brothers, Edge and Christian, the Hardys, 2 brothers, the Acolytes. They were on the same mission. Yeah. They dressed the same. Too cool. The Headbangers.
Yeah, they're
the Mean Street Posse.
And you look at the tag teams that work today. The Usos, brothers. When Goldust and Stardust were teaming, brothers.
The Shield.
The Shield.
They were a faction.
They were kind of a band of brothers. The Wyatt family. You brought them in as a family. You look at Tyson Kidd and Cesaro. I guess they're the exception. You look at it though, it's okay, so that's the little guy that probably causes all the trouble.
Don't forget the Ascension.
The Ascension, they're kind of like a band of brothers as well. But like I said, you look at Tyson Kidd and Cesaro, it's okay, Tyson Kidd causes all the problems, Cesaro's the muscle to back him up. They kind of complement each other,
Well, I don't see it like that. I see it as 2 very annoying guys that you want to beat the crap out of, but it's hard to do it. Because those guys, as annoying as they are, God, can they freaking go in the ring, dude.
And the match that they had with the Usos at Fastlane. Oh my God, dude, It was a match. That was a heck of a tag team match to watch.
Yeah, I didn't get to see that one because
you got to go back and watch it. I've watched it twice now. Oh my god, it's a match, dude. What up? We got
Undertaker and Bray Wyatt.
Dude,
I love the way
that was the perfect way for him to call out Taker.
Right now, I still don't think it was the best possible match, but
how the story that is going to be told is what I like. The match could be almost as bad as Hogan flicking Nash in the head.
No,
I'm exaggerating with that, but I'm just saying I am looking forward to the story that they're going to tell. From what they're saying though, is that Undertaker's not going to make an appearance or respond until WrestleMania.
I can see him making like vignettes and talking to him not via satellite, but like cryptic messages and stuff like that.
You're not going to hear Undertaker's voice, but you're going to see like text stuff show up. And then
I could see him saying one thing on the last Raw before WrestleMania. Lights going out. Maybe the Druids come out. They bring a casket out. Undertaker's not there, but he pulls like a little Sting Houdini kind of thing that he did with Triple H. But like the way that Bray Wyatt called him out,
oh dude, it was awesome. Because I kid you not, dude. When the music hit and everything, at first I'm like, no way Taker's coming out. No.
And that kind of brings us to, and we're not really going to talk about it. I just wanted to say, these dirt sheets and rumors, oh my, it's just getting ridiculous with how many rumors are coming out so much, and it just ruins the surprise. Remember back in the day, picture 10 years ago, me and you sitting right here watching this, the gong hits, the Druids come out.
Dude, you mean like freaking out, Taker's coming out.
Now, we would be on the edge of our seats.
You know what? I'm going to say this. We're going to be on a mission here on our Wrestling Rundown. We're going to do our best not to break any rumors anymore. We're not going to bring up any speculations for fans. Because
we want it to be a surprise for you guys, just as it is to us.
As a fan, the worst thing for me is to go on... I've cut down a lot on all my digging around and looking for news stories and stuff like that. As a fan, the worst thing for me is to sit down and watch a pay-per-view and be like, oh... So this guy's going to pin this guy, but after he does that, he's going to get hit by this guy, and this guy's going to end up winning it. And that's why, I don't want to. When I watch wrestling, I watch it for the entertainment, the shock value, the unexpectedness of things happening. I don't want to know what's going to happen beforehand. Like with the Royal Rumble was very. I had a hard time with the Rumble, and what was it, like a month before it happened, before the Rumble. Mm-hmm. I said, dude, Roman Reigns is going to win it. And we're like, we tried talking ourselves out of it.
Well, I mean, we thought Bryan was going to win it.
Yeah.
And Ziggler.
But, like I said, remember what I told you when
all three of them.
Remember when I read it, though? I said, dude, they say Roman Reigns is going to win the Rumble and he's going to go on to face Lesnar at WrestleMania. And when it happened, I was annoyed because I'm watching it and it's like, man, I already knew the outcome of this a month before it even happened.
Well, I mean, they kind of threw a curveball in there with Daniel Bryan coming out so early, and Ziggler coming out number 30.
Like I said, that's what I was trying to talk myself out of it a little bit. But when you saw Bryan getting eliminated, honestly, when I saw Bryan get eliminated, it immediately popped back in my head. I was like, that's it. It's going to be Lesnar versus Roman Reigns.
Now, I didn't think that far ahead. I just thought about the person. I just thought about who was going to win the match. I didn't think about who was going to face Lesnar. I thought Ziggler would still win it. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, come on. They gave the guy the victory at Survivor Series,
But we're done talking about Royal Rumble. That's a dark place for us right now. But, no.
Well, I mean, I'm over it. And honestly, I'm really excited to see Reigns versus Lesnar. Because, like I said before, and I know for some reason Khaled has trouble accepting this, but when you have two different kind of wrestlers going at it, they're going to complement each other. If it was Bryan and Lesnar, well, guess what? You would see in Lesnar's movesets something you haven't seen since the 2003 WrestleMania when it was him against Angle. You would see a little bit. No, you would see more of a technical wrestling. Like I said, if it was Lesnar and Big Show, nothing but power moves.
Yeah.
Just like it's going to be with Reigns and Lesnar. And we can criticize that all we want, but let's be honest. We look for those power moves. We look for those spears, going
back to my mission here. My mission right now is
I don't appreciate you just interrupting
I'm
me.
sorry about that. I'm sorry.
It's cool. It's not going to happen again.
My mission right now is to try and bring back, the uninformed fan in me a little bit. The one that sees something and is like, oh my god, I can't believe that this happened.
No, I mean, we'll let you know.
We'll let you know if somebody gets released.
Or if somebody just got signed. But we won't cover, he's going to reignite a feud with this person, or he's going to get involved in that.
We're not gonna bring up any spoilers from NXT shows that are coming up or anything like that, because I don't know if you know or not, but they're taped. I think it's like they tape 8 episodes a week after their big show. So for the next 8 weeks are already done. So technically, I could go right now, pull up a list, and tell you every single outcome for the next 8 weeks. We're not gonna do that.
No way, no.
Right? We're gonna bring you guys the fans' view of wrestling from now on, and I hope you guys enjoy it, because I think the current fans' views, and once again, everyone's entitled to their own views and opinions and everything like that, but the current fans' views is, we know everything now, so if you do something, it's you pushing this guy. Why you're giving this guy the title? Why are you pushing this guy? Why are you pushing this guy? We want this guy, not that.
I want it to be the way it was in the past, because you know what? In the past, even though I hated it when the heels won and were getting pushed and we're being dominant and we're beating The Rock and Austin and Benoit and The Undertaker and all the good guys, when I look back on it, it was entertaining as crap. Mm-hmm. And that's what we want to do again. That's what I would love to see happen.
Yeah. One other thing, we talk about how the Attitude Era is dead and we're now in the PG era. Mm-hmm. No, you know what it is? No. The PG era, if you look at it, aside from having half-naked chicks on TV every night and them cutting down on the language a little bit, the PG era is almost identical to the Attitude Era, except it's less blood, less half-naked women, and the language has been cut down. You know what the big difference is, though? It's the fact that we could go on the computer right now and we could, within a couple minutes, find out who's going to be feuding with who next month, who's going to have what match at WrestleMania, who's going to have what match at Extreme Rules, and all that stuff. That's the big difference.
Yeah, because back in the day, I never knew anything. I never heard anything. I never knew what was going to happen. And like I said, the shock value was just amazing, because somebody would tell you, well, you know what? You're going to face this person at this pay-per-view, Hell in a Cell. Yeah. How many times did you jump out your seat when you heard Hell in a Cell?
Oh, I mean, dude, like back in the day, you heard Hell in a Cell match? Oh my god. You were like, dude.
Now that you know Hell in a Cell is like a guarantee, the last good Hell in a Cell, I mean, I know we talked about this already too, with Blue in the Face. Last two Hell in a Cell really good matches I saw was, and I'm not even going to count Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins and Triple H and Undertaker, because
Triple H and Undertaker wasn't really a Hell in a Cell match. It was a match that took place inside a Hell in a Cell.
Right, and the Dean Ambrose and
that was just
Seth Rollins.
To be honest, that was more of a spot fest. For it was like, okay, they did the Hell in a Cell. They recreated the Mick Foley crash through the table.
Not 100%.
Not 100%, but they kind of modified it for us, of course. For the future of the company. But that was pretty much really the main use of the cell. After that, it was straight up weapons.
No. I mean, like I said, they did utilize the cell, but it wasn't really a match. It was more of a
fight,
like an exhibition of just
fight.
Look what I can do. Yeah, look what we can do.
Exactly.
But I would say the last two really good Hell in a Cell matches were Orton and Cena, 2014,
which that was surprisingly a great match between the two of them,
and even more so because it was Cena and Orton. Mm-hmm. And this is a really good match that I think people need to go back and watch, because nobody talks about it. I'm surprised it wasn't on the top 10 on the WWE Countdown on WWE Network. Edge versus Batista versus Undertaker, Hell in a Cell 2007 at Survivor Series.
I've forgotten about that match.
That match was just amazing, dude. You go back and watch that. I don't know, people like to pick on Batista, but that dude, like I said, he's like Roman Reigns. He can swim with the sharks. Whether it's a smaller guy, like Finley. Like Finley used to put on good matches with Batista, and then you had the Undertaker out there. Then you had Edge come out and ruin the match. It was just freaking magic.
Yeah. See the last thing that we want to touch on before we gotta get going here in a minute.
Yeah, we're gonna go check out the UFC fight.
You know, I think that if one thing for sure, we don't talk a lot of MMA. When CM Punk has his first fight, trust me, we're gonna bring some MMA onto this show.
Yeah, and anything Ronda Rousey does, because I've never seen a girl that hot that I'm that scared of. You know, that I normally wouldn't be. I see somebody like China or Beth Phoenix, yeah, I'm scared. I see Ronda Rousey, I think, oh, you know, like...
Speaking of China, you know China released a twerking video? It's awful. It's bad. It's bad.
What's bad to us is good to others. Did you see that video of that little white girl that I shared? Like, she was like, did you see it? Did you see it?
I was going to talk to you about that. We're going to do a two guys in a podcast episode regarding that video. I'll tell you about it later.
Let's make it just 10 minutes.
No,
that was horrendous.
No, it's a whole... I'll tell you. We'll talk about it later.
And we'll actually share it on the page as soon as we can. Because that video... The little girl says that she's going to change people's lives. If anything, I think she ruined people's lives.
But we segued from wrestling there for a second.
But anyway, just to get back to what we were talking about, Samoa Joe coming to WWE, I think it's a good idea because he's established. I think like I said, NXT is like its own little indie thing, and that's not a knock to NXT because a lot of people like the indie stuff. It's like it's our own ROH.
Exactly.
It's like our own ROH, and that a lot of people want to see that, especially because it's a lot of the same people seeing it. You know, because it's in the same area. You said Mysterio got released.
Well, he didn't get released. They're just mutually parted ways. He's taking indie bookings already.
Yeah, I think he's going down to Mexico.
He's going to be in AAA.
Right, with Kodak.
Yeah, so that's
going
to be interesting to see.
And El Patron.
El Patron's also in ROH. You hear about that? He's also going to be in Lucha Underground.
Really?
Yeah.
You know what? You know what, dude? I am guilty of not giving heels a chance. You know, it takes a special kind of heel for me to really buy into him.
You gotta watch El Patron, man.
But one, AKA Alberto Del Rio.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how many great matches he really put on.
He's put on some awesome matches. He was. I think the problem with him for me. I mean, I guess it's
just the way. To me, it's just the way he looked. He didn't look like the big guy that could take out Punk, that could take out Batista, that could take out Cena.
Yeah.
You know, I really needed to look at the wrestling ability, and like I said before, I'm really bad at judging heels off of, you know, because Sandow and Miz, when he was Sandow and when Miz was just annoying as hell, I didn't like them because of their characters. Now I know that they're not really like that in real life. Sometimes they're just either so good at it, or I was just so biased against it, you know. And that's how I feel like with Alberto Del Rio. I honestly felt if he came back,
you'd be fine with it now.
Yeah.
All right. So we're talking about, you know, let's do a top 5 somewhere in here. Okay, we're gonna end it with top 5 wrestlers you would want to see show up in NXT.
Okay. I would love to see. You know who I think would be like a really good add to it.
Who?
You know, I don't know what he's been doing in TNA or if he's still in TNA. But Homicide.
I think he's doing indie stuff. He occasionally shows up in TNA. But yeah, he would actually be a pretty good fit for NXT.
Mm-hmm.
I would actually like to see his partner too show up in NXT, Hernandez, to reform LAX.
That was a great tag team.
I would love to see that tag team I would love to see him in WWE. Hell.
Yeah, Supermax.
Oh, dude, yeah, Supermax. Oh,
the
man.
Gringo Killer.
But okay, so Homicide. Who else you got?
Let's be honest. AJ Styles.
Yeah, you got to throw him in there. All right, so that's 2.
I would also like to see Paul London come back.
Okay, that's 3.
Reform
Kendrick and London and Kendrick, or
that would be awesome to see. But even if it was just him,
mm-hmm.
You know who I would have loved to see be in our NXT in his prime? Maybe not come back, but Billy Kidman.
Oh yeah, that would have been a good one.
But anyway, I'm not saying Billy Kidman. That's 3.
Okay, so we're at 3.
I would like to see. what's his name? Well, let me keep thinking about it. That's three.
Okay.
You have your 3?
So I got 5.
Okay.
So definitely want to see Samoa Joe, just because my whole Owens fight versus Joe is going to kill you.
Uh-huh.
I would love to see that match. I would love to see the Wolves, the American Wolves.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I doubt that will ever happen. So, but do I count a tag team as 2 or do I count them as 1?
Well, you can count them as 1.
I count them as 1. Of course, AJ Styles.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see, providing if Chris Sabin's 100%, I'd love to see the Motor Machine Guns.
Okay.
You know, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin.
Now, your last choice better not be Beer Money.
No, it's not Bear Money.
Okay, because those guys are main eventers. They're main event.
It's just one person.
Okay.
It's Austin Aries, and he won't be in NXT for long. It'll just be like, dude, just come up, get your name for like 2-3 months. We're gonna have to call you up after that. Cause
you see, Color,
I know I called up a lot of small guys.
No. But this is the thing. You're giving these guys way too much credit. Their ability, yes, it's amazing, but not everybody can succeed on the main roster.
I know not everyone can succeed. I'm saying this is NXT though. They're coming to.
Well, no, but you're saying that he'll be in NXT for 2 months.
I think he'll be there for 2.
Well, look at Sami Zayn.
Okay, maybe
look at Adrian Neville.
Good point. Maybe he'll be there for longer. But I'm just saying, I would want to see Austin Aries be in NXT.
I would like to see a little bit of a gimmick in Roderick Strong.
Oh, dude, the Messiah, the Backbreaker.
Right.
Oh my god,
that would be awesome. And I don't know what he's doing, but I would love to see Petey Williams get in the ring with some of these.
He's
guys.
in a band with Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley. They have their own little band.
Okay.
But I think he actually officially retired though, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, well then let me take Petey Williams off. What about Kazarian?
I don't know what he's doing. He was in WWE for a little bit though.
What about Jay Lethal? I think Jay Lethal would be nice. Sanjay Dutt?
Oh, dude. You know, let's just call all of TNA's rejects and bring them in.
Well, I mean, the thing is the NXT and the X Division that was in TNA
is perfect. It's like a match made in heaven for him.
Yeah, and I knew I was going to name a bunch of TNA guys. That's why I kind of said London, and even though wasn't he in TNA as well, or I know Kendrick went.
Kendrick was there. I think London was there briefly, but not really there. You know, okay, if I'm going outside of TNA as well, I'd want to see one other tag team, but they're gonna have to tone it down a lot. It's gonna be the Briscoe brothers, Mark and Jay Briscoe from ROH.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind seeing that tag team come over. Just because, dude, they're unorthodox as hell.
Someone else I would like to see. I know we said top 5, but screw it.
When you talk wrestling, you gotta keep going.
Yeah, the floodgates are open. I heard Maria is doing an amazing job in ROH as a wrestler and as a valet.
She's doing pretty good. She is. I must say she's surprised. She has improved a lot since leaving.
And I wouldn't mind seeing Velvet Sky come to TNA.
Oh god!
Because I mean, she is like Trish Stratus used to be. She came in, she was just pretty, except she knew how to wrestle a little bit.
She's gotten like from debuting in TNA to now, dude. She's like the leap has just been unbelievable.
Yeah, and you know what? I kind of wish Velvet Sky and Angelina Love would have came to WWE at the time where Late Cool were still in.
Dude, that would have been something. That would have been something else. The Beautiful People versus Late Cool.
Flawless.
Oh god, dude. That would have been something else.
And I don't care what you say. I know you say Angelina Love is ugly. I don't care.
Have
what
you seen
say.
her lately though?
No, I understand. I think she's done something to her face with cosmetic surgery. I don't know, cosmetic surgery maybe, but she reminds me of kind of like Beth Phoenix in a way. She was never scared to get in the ring with somebody. Yeah, she was a heel. Mm-hmm. She was, that girl that you would hate, but she would always get in there and get her hands dirty. You know, her and Velvet Sky. And plus, I mean, who doesn't like a chick who modeled herself after Shawn Michaels? Because she said Shawn Michaels was her biggest
influence.
Right.
Sure.
So.
Well, you know, we're gonna end on that note.
Why that note?
I don't know.
I think you're just trying to end it just to end it. If we're going to end on a note, let's end on a good note. Let's keep
bring
talking.
back the hardcore title.
No, if they're going to bring back any title,
they need to bring it back for Dean Ambrose. Damn it!
No.
Why not? So. Why not?
Well,
it'd be great to bring it back.
Let's end on that note. They shouldn't bring back the hardcore title because the title was a gimmick, and we have way too many gimmicks. Okay. If they're going to bring back a title, they should bring back the European title and have it. I'm not going to say it's kind of almost as if like when somebody like Rusev would win the U.S. title, you know. Have it be a prestigious title to people like Wade Barrett, Cesaro, you know, other people who are in you know, from that area, and have somebody, you know, like you can turn people face like that. Like sometimes it's just a title that makes people, you know, that makes things happen. You know, like because it was one, and I'll tell you when I think about it later on. But there was one thing that if it wasn't for the title being there, a feud would have like dissipated.
Oh man!
But yeah,
well,
I think
we'll talk about. We'll stop on that note then. We'll bring up whatever topic it is, whatever feud it was you're talking about.
And you know what it could, you know what else it could be like? Remember when they had the ECW title, World Heavyweight title, and WWE title?
Yeah.
You could have like the 3 mid card champions: the European title, Intercontinental title, and the US title.
It'd give you a lot more feuds, and we'll give you something to fill 3 hours of Raw.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. And of course, I think the person that should win it should be in a battle royale, and it should be Cesaro.
After he loses the tag team titles.
No, he can hold it with the tag team title.
All right. Well, we're gonna end on that note then, guys. Tune in next week where we talk about some more wrestling for y'all.
And that's the bottom line.
Because
the 2 guys,
a podcast, 2 guys,
podcast,
and Wrestling Rundown said so.
You know,
that's a little bit long.
I was just hoping we would say because these 2 guys said so.
But then Austin might come in and I don't want to do that.
Hey, you know what he says? When you hear that glass, it's your ass.
All right, guys. See ya.
Later.